Welcome to today's KISSmetrics webinar. Today we'll be covering Be Engaging, see how we drive growth with engagement automation. My name is Chewy Madsen. I work in marketing operations here at KISSmetrics, and you can reach out to me using my Twitter, Chewy L. Madsen, or you can use the hashtag KISSwebinar. If you should have any questions or if you want to engage in the conversation, do feel free to reach out. But without further ado, I would love to introduce to you today's presenter, our CEO, Brian Kelly. And Brian should be with us now. Brian, why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Thanks very much, Chewy. Super excited to be here. Obviously a big fan of our webinar series, goes without saying. I'm a serial entrepreneur in Silicon Valley, long history of being in customer analytics. I've been focused on analytics and marketing my entire career, and just love getting into data and understanding the behavior of people and how you can leverage that to improve operations in your company. And that's really what I'm going to talk about today. Here's where I can be found. I'm not super prolific on Twitter, but I'm out there a little bit here and then, and I'd love to hear from you. So here's what I'm talking about today. First and foremost, we've kind of created a new category, and we're calling that customer engagement automation. And a little disclaimer here, obviously we are in the crosshairs of a target user for our products, and we use them extensively to run our marketing and our growth teams, to understand how people are using our product and interacting with our marketing campaigns and improving them. So while I don't want this to be like a sales pitch, we are using our product, and I am going to talk about our product in that regard, which is kind of cool. It's fun to be using our product and selling to companies that use our product likewise, because I've worked for a lot of software companies where you don't have that privilege. I've done a lot of retail analytics software, and obviously we weren't a retailer, we were a software company. But it's cool to be able to use our own stuff, eat our own dog food, drink our own champagne, whatever you want to say. So I'm going to tell you about customer engagement automation and what that means and why we had to come up with a new name. And then, like I said, I'm going to show you how we use it, how we deploy our analytics and our engagement functionality to be engaging and to drive growth at KISSmetrics. And then finally, in a big part of the presentation, because I'm going to stay at a relatively high level, I'll go into specifics on how we leverage the thing, but I'm not going to have like big screenshots and demos along the way. So Andy Wyatt, our product manager, is going to take over, and he's going to show us, how things look and work within the product, which will tie it all together. I love to start with just a high-level definition, because we throw the word engage and engaging around, and sometimes, yeah, of course, we kind of know what it means, but I like to explain and really get into the detail on the difference between the two. I mean, because I think they are largely different, and I think both are fine. It just depends on really what you're after with your specific engagement or message or campaign. So engage, I think, is a little bit more raw. So that's like, that could be just for awareness, and you're just getting in someone's face. It could be a clap or a firecracker or a pop-up message. But it does grab, clearly grabs attention, and you've engaged your audience typically for a relatively short period of time. But what we're really striving for, and what we're going to talk about here, is how to be engaging. And I think that's a big difference. It's a way where you're interacting with someone, and it's mutually respectful, mutually beneficial. It's pleasant. It's timely. It's contextual, and it's something that holds your attention and actually builds respect and trust over time. And that's, in fact, what I hear a lot. So I go out and talk to peer CEOs and our customers a lot, and I love this quote. It was we were recording some customer research that we were doing, and it happens to be from a company that doesn't want us to use our name because they view KISSmetrics as a competitive advantage, and they don't do a lot of publicity in general. But it was really hit the nail on the head in what I think we're all trying to accomplish. You know, we're all trying to accomplish with our marketing and with our in-product engagements. It's just to really help people when you get down to the bottom line. It's help them in a contextual manner, a very useful manner. And what we're trying to accomplish is guiding them along their journey, wherever they are in that journey, whether they're at the top of the funnel and starting to investigate, or whether they're trying, or whether they're using, or whether they're unhappy, or whether they're an advocate. We want to empathize, and we want to throw useful stuff at them, at the right time. And so I just thought this little tidbit from the CEO was interesting, and really believing that this is how they want their company to be viewed, and this is how they want people to, and this is how they want to earn the respect and the relationship, and build a relationship with their target market. And I have an analogy. It's kind of like when people say to me, like, "Hey, if you explain what you do to your grandma or your mom or your dad, what are you saying?" So I have this. It just kind of came to me because it actually happened in real life, where I saw this guy standing on the corner. He was looking, at a map on his phone and kind of looking up and down. And so I approached him and I just said, "Hey, can I help you?" Like any of us would do. And he was like, "Yeah, I'm kind of lost." And, I offered him directions in downtown San Francisco, and it was really helpful. But then I was like, wow, that's kind of what we do here at KISSmetrics, where we're seeing people, digitally coming around in our products and our web properties and our marketing material. We're watching how they're interacting with them. And then we're, based on that observation of their behavior, we're offering them help and guidance. And the cool thing was, and going back to the last slide and the quote of the CEO, was that, the guy clearly appreciated me, offering help. And I felt really good about giving it. And, so it's this like win-win situation, which was really cool. And that's what we're trying to provide. But likewise, if the guy was standing there, looking at his map and looking lost, and I came up and tried to sell him a pair of shoes, probably be a little pissed off and be like, why are you doing that to me? So again, it's contextual, timely, relevant, helpful interactions that we want and expect and love, and the other kind, not so much. So customer engagement automation, it's just pretty much all of that. And in technical terms, basically what we're trying to do is help the guy looking for directions at scale. So taking that behavior and putting them into a segment, and automating these communications, because we have hundreds or thousands or millions of people exhibiting different types of behavior in different orders and different fashions along the way. And so what we want to do is figure out how we can understand that behavior, and then again present them with something that will help them, have a better experience, to be more successful, to love what we do. Whether it's, again, marketing or in-product features and functionality, that's what we want to deliver. So that's what customer engagement is all about. And there's really three key components here to customer engagement. And the first, obviously, is being able to understand that behavior. So what is going on? That's the question I always love to ask is, hey, what's going on? And you want to be able to provide a clear vision, a clear perspective on what people are doing. And I always like to see, yes, what's working, but our human nature is to try to really target and fix what's not working, and understand what's not working, where the bottlenecks are, and why. And that's what you can really get out of understanding the behavior. And then, as I mentioned earlier, another big key piece is when you identify these key behavioral traits that are instrumental to driving your growth, we want to make sure that we have a way to define what those are and a set of rules, and capture those and monitor those, because it could be anything like signing up for a trial, navigating through the product page, using a key feature on our site. And if these are behaviors that we want to make sure that are important to progressing or providing guidance along the way, we want to make sure that we put those in a segment and then monitor how those segments are growing or shrinking, and how we're influencing them with our initiatives. And then finally, being able to be engaging. And the engagement comes in a variety of ways. Obviously, it can be in-app pop-ups, it can be chat, it can be email. But again, being able to then leverage this understanding of the behavior and then capture that and automate the delivery of these messages based on those behaviors or profile attributes is the third part of customer engagement automation that you need to do it effectively. And then last but not least, this is a continuous process, and I'll get into that. Obviously, we're all sitting here and no one is just leaning back with their feet up on their desk saying, well, my customer lifecycle process is perfect and we don't have any speed bumps or roadblocks or leaks. There's always opportunity to hone in and understand and improve the process along the way. So I'm going to talk about how we do that as well. So talking about KISSmetrics, and I'm introducing customer engagement automation by KISSmetrics. Just quickly, we acquired a company called Notify about 9 months ago, and we extended our product suite. KISSmetrics is clearly known for doing the behavioral analytics, but now we're also offering as a feature doing the engagement in the forms of email campaigns. So it's super exciting for us to be able to close this loop and provide the full customer lifecycle customer engagement automation. So how do we do this at KISSmetrics? So again, as I said at the onset, we leverage our own products and we do customer engagement automation. I mean, we've been doing it for a long, long time. For this scenario and for the examples that I'm about to show, we're going to focus kind of mid and bottom of the funnel. So not talking about the demand gen and lead capture side, which definitely can apply customer engagement automation for, but focusing on, for us, we're obviously a SaaS company and have products. So once they get into your product, how do you make sure that we convert them from, getting a demo to trying to using to being an advocate of the product? So more in the mid and bottom of the funnel to keep customers retained for a long time. And what I recommend and what we do is we just broke it down into a simple flow. Identifying the big milestones of the customer life cycle as they go through the journey. What are the big anchors of steps that we want people to take in order to be a long-time customer? So starting all the way at the beginning with demo. So obviously we're doing a lot of ads and driving people to the website and offering a free demo and a personal demo. And that's where we're starting again. So they signed up for a demo and then they go all the way through to trial, purchase, using the product, and becoming an advocate is ultimately what we want everybody to be telling everybody about how awesome KISSmetrics is in driving growth for their company. And basically, again, so I'm going to focus on the email engagement since that's what we're doing in our product offering right now. And basically, I think table stakes are that you would have some kind of email interaction based on the behavior of each of these stages. So, you sign up for a demo, obviously you'd want to get an email back that says, hey, thanks for signing for the demo. Here's what you can expect. We look forward to talking to you, et cetera, et cetera. Maybe some other helpful tips along the way. And likewise for each of the other steps. Very basic, but powerful. But I recommend if you're not doing this today already, this is where you start laying out kind of what you believe the customer lifecycle is, making sure you understand that through the behavioral analytics, laying it out, and then driving basic engagement at the beginning. But the thing you got to look at again is along this journey that you've laid out, what are people doing along the way? So clearly not everybody just kind of trots down this life cycle journey happily and merrily. I think there's obviously a lot of dropout and a lot of places where people don't convert from one stage to the next. And a lot of people bounce around. It's not necessarily always chronological and perfect. So you need to understand what people are doing, where are they hitting the speed bumps, how long should you expect someone to go from one step to the next. And you want to understand what is working as well. So what are people doing that are converting from one step to the next? And what did our best customers do along the way? What are they doing today? What is the most valuable features in our product that I can highlight in order to get people down the path of going from demo to advocate? And again, that's where we kick in with analytics. And as I mentioned, Amaze is one of the components of customer engagement automation platform. And we have a suite of reports that we take that behavior that we're capturing on your website or in your product, and we lay it out for you in a way that makes it really useful and easy to find insights about the behavior. Laid out here just a couple little screenshots of how we lay out that behavior. But the first one is a funnel report. And basically it shows, how people are converting down this path. And what we discovered is there was a big opportunity for us to improve the conversion from people who are trying our product to people who are purchasing our product. And we wanted to figure out, okay, what was going on in that step and what can we do to improve it? So what we did and what I recommend you do is leveraging all these analytics and understanding what people are doing and not doing, and figuring out, the Facebook kind of scenario of, they figured out if they can get people to, friend 7 people in 10 days, they become a longtime user of Facebook. So we wanted to figure out what is our 7 friends in 10 days. And for us, it was sending us data. So hooking up KISSmetrics to your website or product and sending us data, building and running a funnel report, and then building at least 5 metrics within the metrics dashboard, and doing all that within 14 days was a very strong indicator of success. So basically what we did is we took this simple process and we started dividing and conquering. So we take the trial and the purchase and put those on the bookends, and then we built these rules for understanding when people are doing the other 3 things that were instrumental and strong indicators of success for getting them towards purchasing and realizing the value in purchasing KISSmetrics. And the first thing we wanted to do, as I said, is if I'm identifying that send data and funnel report and greater than 5 metrics are behaviors that are very important to our growth cycle, I want to create a segment around those and really closely monitor that. And for that, what we did in the product is we created something we call populations. And populations is just that, it's a segment based on behavior or profile traits of people and the way they're interacting with your products and who they are. And it's really a strong segment. And then you can easily monitor the growth of these segments and take action. It's a first order object that you can use to do campaigns and report on. So it's a super powerful way to say that, hey, these are the people who are really important to us. I want to monitor them. I want to look at this. And this is something that I actually look at right after I get my morning coffee, because I know the business well enough, and I want to see how these key populations are performing. Because if one of them is down or below where I think it needs to be, I'll know that, hey, we're gonna miss our numbers, and so we need to take action to drive more people into a given population or segment. So it really is a great way to understand the health of your customer lifecycle and where you need to focus your initiatives. And so in this case, what we're going to do now is kick off into campaign. So identify that, hey, we need to get people to send data and run a funnel report and create metrics in our product. And I want to help them do that, because we know that once they do that, they are going to realize value. They are going to realize the value that they came to KISSmetrics to get in the first place. So I want to help them. I want to be, again, help them do what they came to do. And so campaigns allows you to basically take those populations or those behavioral traits and define them. So as you can see here, this is a blown up screenshot down there, and I've created this one. It says like, hey, for all the people that have received, they've sent us data and they've created metrics, but they've not run a funnel report, I want to do something for them. I'm going to send them something that says, hey, I noticed you created this and you're getting value here and we appreciate it, but let me show you how a funnel report works, why it's important to your business, how you can use it to monitor the activity of your business and improve things along the way. And as a result of that, we saw a 12% increase in our conversions from trial to purchase. Without disclosing numbers, we do a ton of trials, thousands and thousands. So it's a big 12%. So this was a really helpful and a valuable insight that we gained in a valuable implementation of campaigns. So the great thing is that, again, all these components that I'm talking about in CEA are integrated. So I can immediately then, once I send this email out and we start doing this, I can see the impact that it has on our initiatives for driving growth. So a full closed loop optimization of understanding your opportunity, segmenting the audience based on that opportunity, engaging them with email campaign, and then coming right back to see how it worked and rinse and repeat and continuously optimize and improve. And that's what I'm going to do right here. So why not now see that we have another opportunity to optimize the step between trial and sending data. And so that's what we did as a next step in this process, was, again, understanding the behavior and figuring out where the opportunities to improve are, because you're never really done. And what we figured out is we need to get a little bit more personal. So we got people who are signing up for a trial, and we wanted to incorporate not only behavioral data, but also start bringing in profile data. And in this case, we brought in a simple field job title. So just understanding who the person was that in fact registered and signed up for the trial, and then interacting with them appropriately. And so what we did here is we just broke out that initial trial email into 3 chunks. And now actually I think we have 5, but the initial one was we had a C-level, a marketer, and a developer. All clearly have different levels of understanding and probably different expectations of how KISSmetrics is going to work and what they need to do to get it going and how they're going to use it. So we created 3 specific emails, again, based on a simple job title. And for that, we saw another really nice bump in conversions as well. And then again, it's just looking at the big picture and leveraging the closed loop analysis to just constantly refine, figure out where people need help, understanding what you can do to help them, looking at the impact of helping them, and just making it clear that you're there all along the way, where they need it, where they expect it, where they want it to drive conversions and drive your growth cycle. And again, it can be anything from the top of the funnel, which I didn't go through here, where people that are coming to your site and have registered for your blog or your newsletter, your ebook, and then went to the pricing page 3 times in a 24-hour period. Maybe that's something that indicates that strong interest, and you would want to follow up with an email indicating that you can help them or offering them another bit of information or a customer case study or something like that. So really understanding the process that people are going through. It's always not chronological, so you got to really take into account what's going on and when, and make sure you don't inundate them. So things that we take into consideration are some of the classic best practices emails, but what time of day and day of week, and you can test all of that stuff. The duration, the amount of time between emails. Obviously, you want to check and test subject line and bodies, and there's a lot of this best practices stuff available out there and on our blog as well. We found something that's useful in our emails is always offering additional help. So if they're help getting started or whatnot, by offering a phone number or links to other help docs or other things, and we always ask for feedback as well. So we've found that that's something that's very well liked, and people respond to that. Some don'ts, I think, are you got to really figure out how to don't get in their way. I used the example of the guy looking for directions on his phone, and you go up and get in his way and say, like, hey, you want to buy a pair of shoes, or I know you bought some pants, you want some more pants, or hey, I noticed you haven't used this feature yet. You're going to get in their way and probably a turn off. Clearly, you don't want to inundate. And as you can see, KISSmetrics today, I think we've got upwards of 125 individual emails that can go out along this journey at any point in time. But you got to really make sure that you're not sending conflicting messages or too many messages to the same person. And there's ways to make sure that that's not occurring. And then again, I think best practices stuff is just, we found the most effective emails are just really crisp and clear and concise and relatively short and to the point, especially when you get to this number of emails. You don't want everyone to be a long paragraph. If you're making them contextual and timely and relevant to what their behavior is, you do have this opportunity to make them personal and very focused and clear and concise and compelling. So again, in summary, KISSmetrics has launched this customer engagement automation platform. 3 big components, demo with Andy. And again, I implore you to stick around with this, because I think it really cements home what we do in our product and how people leverage it in practice. And with that, I will turn it over to Andy.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Brian. That was absolutely fantastic. If that was the 50,000 foot view, this is going to be the 10-foot view of what is KISSmetrics and how we can help you, and kind of more specifically all the 3 elements that Brian really covered. So just some background on me. My name is Andy Wyatt. I'm a product manager here at KISSmetrics. Started originally in sales, was in marketing for a while. Now I'm in product. So I essentially know all the ins and outs of what is KISSmetrics and how we can help your business or different businesses. So happy to answer any questions or anything that comes up at the end of this webinar as well. So actually in this space, we're one of the older companies. We were founded all the way back in 2008. We've morphed and changed a little bit since then, but back then our goal was to help people understand what was happening on their website. And now our goal is to help you, analyze, segment, and engage your customers that are on your website from within one platform. So we have about 1,000 customers, about 40 employees, headquartered in San Francisco, and backed by some cool venture partners here. And essentially, this is how we see the world. We are a person-based tool. Every single person that ever comes to your website or visits your business online is going to get a record in KISSmetrics, and all of their activity is tied back to them. This is exactly what enables us to have this customer engagement automation platform where you can follow people through their whole journey and engage them at certain spots and see where they're dropping off, is because we're tying all that data back to an individual person. And this connects across multiple devices and sessions and different touch points in that customer journey. We never override anything, we never delete anything. So every single person that's ever been on your site, we have a record for of all their activity essentially. And that allows us to do what we do in Analyze and in populations and in campaigns, like I'll get into. But in Analyze, right? So you're looking at a funnel, you're seeing where the drop off happens, where our bottlenecks are. You're actually looking at actual people moving through your funnel. In other analytics tools or other ways to look at this, you might see like users or sessions or page views or something that doesn't really correlate to what you're trying to actually market and sell to, and your sales team is actually trying to go after a person to get them to convert. So in KISSmetrics, all these numbers are actual people. 4,093 people entered the lead funnel, and eventually 44 way at the end upgraded, 54 were billed, 106 had an opportunity created. So at any point, you can actually dive in and understand who made it, who didn't make it. You actually see like the list of emails or the list of people that moved on or didn't move on. So it really allows you to actually find where your true drop-off points are and where you want to focus your engagement efforts. Even further, if you're pumping in any sort of like optimization data or you're running any other tests besides just emails, you can roll all of that into KISSmetrics. That gets tied to that person's user record. So we know that they were in the variant for this test 3 months ago and that they went on to upgrade, or we know that they were in the original and they didn't upgrade. So you can actually ask really in-depth questions of like, if we ran this homepage test 3 months ago, did more people from the original or variant go on to become a paid upgrade customer or go on to spend at least $1,000 with us, or really see what the impact of that test is over the length of the entire customer journey. In Analyze itself, there are a whole suite of reports that allow you to dig in, cohort reports and just general people searches, and really dig in to find what actually granularly is happening on your website, where those drop-offs are, where people get stuck, where you can focus your efforts. From there, you move into populations. Populations is essentially a way to track groups of people that you care about, whether that's a stage in the funnel or stage in your sales cycle, or just a particular group of people you're interested in, like people that might be canceling soon or people that just recently upgraded. But it's a way for you to see how those groups grow and shrink and understand if you're doing your job with your engagement and with all your other efforts. A population is just a list of rules. Essentially, it's just like anything else you do in KISSmetrics. These are people that signed up in the last 14 days and are from US or Canada and have title equals marketer, right? You can make any set of rules you want to build a population. And then from there, you can actually understand who makes up that population. So if you're looking at let's say these are your trial users who haven't paid yet, right? Your upgrade potential group, you can understand where they are, where they're located, what their title is, what company they're at, what features they've interacted with, what plan level they're on. So you can really find out who makes up that actual population and then see how that population grows and shrinks. So you can follow along, that particular group you care about. If you are familiar with like the build, measure, learn cycle, kind of lean development or the build, measure, learn cycle, from Eric Ries, this would be essentially like the measure and kind of the learn stage, but it's essentially the measure stage of that whole process, right? From there, you get into campaigns, which is actually going to be where you can build these engagement emails and actually automate this engagement so that you can actually have the impact you want to have, right? So in campaigns, it's a really easy way for you to actually build emails. We have a WYSIWYG editor where you can simply drag and drop components and build out your email, customize it to look however you want. You can also just import straight HTML if you have HTML email or a designer that's comfortable with that, ready to go. But you can build your beautiful email, and then from there, you're going to set up rules similar to campaign or similar to populations and similar to other reports of, send this to everyone in my new user population, or send this to people that signed up within the last 14 days who are from the US or Canada country, who have logged in at least 5 times and have not paid yet. So you can get very, very in-depth and focused with the rule set for a campaign message. And then in an actual campaign, you can actually set a goal to see if the message you're sending and the action you're having your users take is actually helping and moving people along your funnel, right? So this particular campaign example, this would be like an onboarding campaign. You have a few different messages here where somebody originally gets signed up and then they might add a team member. And the goal could be that they eventually upgrade or that they complete the onboarding journey, whatever that might be, right? So you can send a few different emails and then all of those roll up into a single goal that's going to say that these people actually did convert and had the effect you wanted to, right? So this kind of completes that full circle of build, measure, learn, where you find a drop off and analyze, you figure out who that group is you want to go after, you send them an email and campaigns, and you can actually see if it has an effect or see if it actually moves the needle the direction you want it to. Just a quick note about getting started with KISSmetrics and how to approach if you don't have an analytics tool yet or you don't have KISSmetrics. We have a trial process here where you can actually try out KISSmetrics, talk to a real live human here in San Francisco, get set up, understand what your business wants to track and how to best implement KISSmetrics. We're like most other JavaScript tools out there that we have a snippet of code that goes on every page, and then from there you're just going to tag the specific events and properties. But we have plenty of help and resources here to help you get started with that. From there, our pricing starts at $500 a month and goes up from there, just depending on how many people your website tracks per month or how many people that we're going to track from your website per month, and then what level of service and support you want. But totally customizable, flexible. You can talk to us and try out exactly what plan you're going to want to be in. And I think we have time for some questions. If anyone has any questions on KISSmetrics or on CEA or anything in general, we have some time. So just feel free to enter them into the Q&A box there.
Thank you very much, Andy. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you to Brian as well, and all of you for coming out here today with us. Jeff has a question here. What kinds of interface is there for getting data out of a CRM into KISSmetrics on an ongoing basis?
Yeah, great question. So besides the libraries we have available, JavaScript and some other backend languages that are for our basically our implementation libraries, we do have a few purpose-built integrations with CRMs. If you want to select pieces of data that are going to go from the CRM into KISSmetrics. My caveat there is if you have access to that piece of data outside of the CRM and it's easier to have like a database connection or use a different language, that'd be a lot easier. But depending on what you want to do in moving data from a CRM into KISSmetrics, that's there's a few standalone integrations that we have that can do that for you. Typically, it's people wanting to move data that only exists in that CRM, so things about revenue or things about offline sales process in. Like I said, if you have access to that data anywhere else, if you can also get first name from a form on your website, or if you have a different way to understand activity, there's other ways around that. But great question. And if you want to email me specifically about your specific CRM and what data you want to move in, that'd be great. And we could kind of talk offline.
Awesome, Andy. That looks like it's everything for now. Again, do not hesitate to reach out to either of us if you have any questions. Everyone, have a great rest of your week.